Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Monday. Yet again, it is Monday, July 1st. Happy July 2024. Man, the summer is getting going, isn't it? You know, once it hits July, it's just like things start to speed up by July. It's a slow warm up, but once July comes, before you know it, we'll be dead smack in the middle of April. August, if we're not careful. I'm not rushing it. I hope this summer really takes its time. Slow burn and all, literally burn, because it's about to heat up again. But today was gorgeous, beautiful, almost a bit on the chilly side, but not quite, but just so beautiful. Was almost a little chilly compared to what we've had, but here we are today, and I hope that you are having a great start of your week and that you had a fantastic weekend. Ooh. Interesting. Ace of Wands and then the Seven of Cups. Why that stark difference there? Seven of Cups, hella choices, hella power. Power of choice. And to make almost like a magic wand situation, where you know that you can even say, it's like someone that would hold the Ace of Wands energy and power knows that there's more choices than even what meets the eye. Yeah. And what they would do is not so much take that wand and choose one of these limited options, but they would take that wand and command that the veil or illusions and the clouds would clear so that they could actually see what more there is in store. I like that. I like the thought of that. This could be illusions and, you know, all of that good stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling that with the High Priestess, yeah. Wow, with the four of Pentacles and the Tower. Definitely feeling the energy, as I said, about what's that? The Knight of Pentacles. Slow money. So somebody's wow, is that speaking to the disparity of this energy here, where some, as I just said, some people might have this encounter and accept that this is all that's available to them, whereas some having the same encounter will, or at least have the power to demand more, or at least command. This feels more like a command than a demand with the Ace of Wands. And so those that are still holding on to the illusion of limitations, maybe even a lack of variety, or just a very skewed perspective of what is possible, may be up for some shocking, they may either cause some shocking experiences in their life, or circumstances to occur, or that will be the outcome on account of this. What it feels like is like a lack of authority. And then the High Priestess is about secrets. Maybe secrets revealed. See, what is that about? I'm gonna take that Seven of Cups too, just to see what we talking about. Secrets. So what did I say? What did I say? What did I call it when I saw the Seven of Cups and then the Ace of Wands? I said the power of choice. Yeah. Which again, we all have the right to, right? And so how we exercise that right is what is making all the difference in the experiences that we're wow, and the Empress. The experiences that we're literally creating with the Ace of Wands. Not just having, but actually creating. Because you could, like I said, you could have two people that get to this gateway of sorts of the Seven of Cups. And suppose they say, oh, this is all you got, or you can't go no further, or there's nothing more to see here. And where you may have one that says, okay, well, I'll just take what I can get, and they move on. You'll have another or others that will say, no, let me see what you got in the back. Especially with the Empress energy, oh, hell yeah. That's definitely a command type of energy. Interesting. Creativity out of, what is this? Illusions? I heard curiosity, but I don't really know what that means. Maybe it's more about curiosity. It feels like something else that I'm trying to say. I'm getting like an Alice in Wonderland vibe. Discovery? Something like that. Like the curiosity is really sticking out to me right now. But it's something about having it's like a curious nature that ultimately leads to discovery or even to new inspiration here with the Ace of Wands. Because you refuse to take things at face value. And also because, well, maybe that audacity and also wild passion to some degree is what ultimately leads to the authority of the command with the High Priestess. It's like you would have to kind of you would have to kind of go down the rabbit hole, so to speak, to actually find the Wonderland, right? Yeah, you would actually have to have that that sense of adventure in you to go and see, even if we're talking about energetically, maybe not going anywhere, but to consider some different ideas, some possibilities, some, to dive deeper into beyond what you've been told is true or told is possible or told is your limitation to create in itself. You'd have to be willing to pierce that veil to ultimately find that you actually have dominion there. So discovery leads to dominion. Interesting. I like that. Discovery leads to dominion. Yeah. With dominion here with the Empress makes sense. To explore the mysticisms of life. And I just get the sense that this is just energies that, honestly, what I feel is that appointment of dominion on account of this could even be what you have already been willing to kind of take a deeper dive into and explore and pursue, has led to this spiritual dominion here. And that is causing it's like causing, what do you call it? Like, it's like the cattle, shoot, how do you say that? It either is or has the potential to cause, to like be the catalyst for others, destruction, dismantling, or to ultimately put others where it is you take dominion, it may put others out of their position. It's like the two may not be able to exist within a certain frequency at the same time. And the Four of Pentacles is kind of representing a bit of a controlling energy in this case, especially if it leads to the Tower ultimately. So like I said, it's somebody that may not be even privy to, mainly because they don't choose to, or their choices don't allow them to pierce this veil. So they hold on to other ideals of control and influence. And that insistence is what ultimately leads, it's like how can I say this? It's like it's like the two things happening at once. They're separate, but they actually have an effect on each other, where because some are taking their rightful position of divine, let's say divine dominion is now what I'm hearing, which makes sense with the High Priestess and the Empress. It's putting others out of that seat of authority, or out of that position of power, or out of the privilege of control, perhaps over those very beings themselves before they went through this wonderland excursion of sorts to ultimately come to the knowledge of the power that more or less that they already possessed is the idea. It's just throwing things out of whack, for how foundations were fortified up until that point of the point of appointment is what I'm sensing. Is like they just can't exist in the same energy together. Like this frequency has to get on this vibe. This one doesn't have to get on this, you know, like, and anything that's insistent to try to control anyone or any experience of life in this frequency, this is the fate of that, the tower. It almost like self-destructs or implodes. All right, let's see what else we got. Okay. Let's do it like this, so I can get some more energy on here. Pardon me. There's that slow money again. That's interesting because I was just thinking I didn't really elaborate on that. So there must be something more to this now. That somebody, here's an expectation that seems to be coming in very slow. So somebody has an expectation for a return on something, but is it even moving? Oh, it's moving. With the Six of Swords, but it's like on two different. It's moving. It's coming. But it definitely has been slow or is slow. But it seems like whatever is in anticipation here is undoubtedly on the way. Because the Knight of Pentacles is more or less a pretty sure energy. And then with the Six of Swords, it's like something's in transit. So perhaps whatever it is that, like I said, like, let me see what's in the back. Whatever privilege or special item or, you know, I don't even know. Whatever it is that those that have had the audacity to request have done so, it's in transit. It's on the way. Whatever is being manifested, perhaps that has taken a great deal of devotion to do so. That's why I'm saying it's like, there's more, because this is really speaking to, especially now with the Knight of Pentacles, is really speaking to the concentrated passion that would have had to have been devoted to manifest more than what was offered, or what, you know, may ultimately have just been limited to you at a time and in a season, to continue to focus on bringing that into fruition, crystallizing it, bringing it to life, bringing yourself, you know, into a crystal and into manifestation of a certain power and authority that you may not have always had evidence for was there, but you knew you were privileged to it. You knew you had the character to conduct it. Honestly, the insistence is the proof of that, to continue to petition for it even when you didn't see it. So here it comes. It could be a divine revelation. It could be a really big aha moment or bright idea, new inspiration that really pushes your, maybe even pushes this prosperity forward even faster, or magnetizes it even faster. It could be an idea of that's like an action oriented idea, or inspiration where you find some new way of doing something that just changes the game in some type of way. Like maybe you were doing it in one way for a while, and now, like I said, you get that aha moment, that light bulb moment, like, oh, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing and hearing the scripture when Jesus tells Peter and the boys that were fishing, they were fishing like all night long, and they had casted their nets in one part of the water, and Jesus instructs them to cast their nets on the other side, or in some other specific place that they hadn't fished. Or maybe they had, but either way, it even could be a matter of timing, that now is the time to now cast your nets in a certain place. And when they did that, they went from catching nothing for hours and hours to hauling so many fish in that the net broke, and they barely had enough hands to really, to bring it in and pull it into the boat. So it could be something like that, where you've been working long and hard in one particular area and expecting, rightfully so, a return. And now's the moment of breakthrough that changes everything, and even the acceleration of the advancement as well, the reward perhaps even. But it's more energetic, even though the Knight of Pentacles is here, we got the Four of Pentacles here. The prominent energy is this Ace of Wands. So it's something about passion, drive, inspiration, opportunity, idea. It's something that either magnifies or magnetizes a fortune, or advances you in the way to it, puts you on the track and the trajectory to connect with it, so to speak. And that could be the difference here, where there was an anticipation and a waiting in one place, and now there may be an invitation to activate and maybe initiate a new journey, move to somewhere else, move on to some other thought, move on to some other place. It could be something like that. All right, let's see. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Spirit. I'll take it. And what's this? Ooh, I hear a cat crying. Or it's in heat. I hate that sound. I know it's nature, but my God, that's the most excruciating sound to me. One of them, not the only, but one of them. It makes me uncomfortable. No shade, cats, but it does. All right, so we got the Ace of Swords here, some truth and clarity, maybe perhaps even confirmation of what you may need to protect or stand your ground on as you are transitioning, or as this influence, power, opportunity is en route to you, or maybe it's solidifying that it is protected as you are, as long as you're standing your ground on whatever that decision or that call to action may be, because this is the decision and the clarity that would ultimately put you in a position to decide, you know, is it a matter of me continuing to stand my ground and wait for the what I'm expecting, or is it a matter of it's time for me to get going? And in that case, where to? Maybe all of that is a part of the aha and the revelation that is anticipated. What's on the bottom? Is this still here? Is that because I didn't get very far? So yeah. But this is still about transportation. Moving into a more peaceful state of mind. Perhaps for some, that so I feel that that's something that's been cultivated. Okay. So that's the flex. Maintaining the ideal of which you are actually calling in, and maybe even manifesting ahead of you in some way. It's more internal, but in terms of the transportation, it's like idealizing a place of total peace, right? A total of peace, clarity, and pure passion. Like paradise is what I'm getting. Like idealizing paradise, right? Having to go through a whole wonderland of an experience because you've been calling that in for yourself. So that's pretty much the route that you got to take to get there. If you had known you needed to do that, you probably wouldn't have, but you took the journey anyway, which was, you know, if you remember Alice in Wonderland, it was anything but peaceful most of the time. Even in some of the finest moments of peace, it ended up turning upside down, usually not long, but still maintaining this perspective. Look, through all this confusion, illusion, all of that, still maintaining the ideal though of what is desired. Here, Three of Wands, always being an expectation, like if I gotta stand here and stand my ground, I'm going to have it. Remember, I'm talking about a command, like being insistent. If I gotta go somewhere, then I'm going to have it there. If I have to eliminate some things, dissipate this fog, eliminate some of these choices and options, call in something more than what I can see, you know, in front of me. It was like all of that energy is what has ultimately become the vehicle by which the ideal is now being transported. Again, whether it's you going to it or it coming to you, I think it's all relative, you know, to your situation, as you know, most messages are. But there's something about the connection of that reality now into your you know, into the 3D, into, you know, really materializing for you at beyond, not at just as the ideal that you had to kind of hold with reverence and in faith. There it is, in faith, because of the insistence to continue to command it no matter what the circumstances, is why not only is it beginning to crystallize, if not already, but what it also is bringing with it is, as I said, the appointment and affirmation of the potency of the power you possess to be able to call it in, which is the biggest gift of it all. That's why I'm saying it's like, yeah, something's coming. It may be material, but it's something more about the affirmation of your power and your vision, like your cognizance, that is even more valuable, particularly in this season, than perhaps the things that you were manifesting and calling in that you may have thought would have transported you to peace or given you a peaceful state of mind or made you feel grounded, made you feel safe and secure, you know, made you feel sacred even. It's like how you were actualizing that power before you even had affirmation of it is the gift. That revelation and also that confirmation is the gift. It is the great expectation, because once you are clear on the strength in which you drew your desires unto you, you can recreate that over and over again, and even with more confidence as the Ace of Wands. And that is what ultimately cultivates limitlessness, really and truly, having the physical evidence to support what it is that you already had the faith to command. I hope that makes sense. That's dope. That is what ultimately makes someone all powerful and all knowing in the way that you can receive. If it don't apply, then let it fly. It ain't you, boo, and that's okay. But in the way that is ordained for you to be, so all knowing, all powerful, all knowing, that is that realization and confirmation, like literally confirmation, like when someone is like, I think that's like a Catholic term, like when you have your confirmation. I think that's a thing, but it's something about that here, like almost like a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. There's something about confirmation, because I'm saying it and it feels like more than how I'm saying it. And I'm not exactly sure what that is because I'm not Catholic, but I think it's a thing. But that is the thing that is bringing this reality into existence, as not just an ideal anymore, not just a thought, not just something you hold, keep the faith for, keep hope alive, and visualize and meditate on and pray about. It's like, here it is, or here it comes, but also it already is you, because even what is materialized, which may or may not even be the whole of what is to come, may just be a seed, may be a slow burn of that expectation that you fully envision. Is really, the seed in itself is for you to really sow that vote of confidence in yourself that the divine is obviously dispersing, that not only is it all coming, but it comes by way of you and the power that you ultimately assert. So that should really encourage you to take more authority over your creativity, to perhaps, as I said, maybe even speed some things along, now that you know what you know about yourself. And even with that, like the discernment, with the discernment, and here's the paradise. Look, speed things along to that place of independence, security, stability, self-sufficient, stable, unbothered. That's the peace of mind that's being cultivated here. What was I gonna say when I was talking about the fish? Yeah, and see, look at the difference here from the Knight of Pentacles to, yeah, man, to the Nine of Pentacles. That's a great leap, which is probably why a call for security is in order, for you to continue to, be vigilant about standing your ground. Even maybe also it's more so to standing your ground because what's coming in might still, be getting its bearings straight to get into your force field. But that's probably why even a message such as this is the encouragement that you stay grounded in your confidence to know that you're on the right track. Whatever it is that you're manifesting, not only is it en route, but you are, your faith is on a beam, your passion is thriving and it's pure, your vision is right on the money. Like, if anything, this is probably just encouragement to just literally stay focused. Stay focused, because the acceleration is happening in real time. From the Knight of Pentacles to the Nine, that's a huge leap in energy. To go from slow money to I have everything that I need and pretty much want with the Nine, that's pretty powerful of a jump. Yeah, and this is what you get to protect yourself from energies that would want to project you back into this woe is me stage. This is a total disparity between energies here. Somebody that is codependent or dependent overall, that is untrustworthy of their own power and discernment and decision making to create wealth for themselves, or just even to just take care of themselves. This is someone that is disempowered. That's what the Eight of Swords is. So that's the caution of standing your ground here. Because whatever it is, as I said here, as we're getting closer to this side of the board, is getting funny, right? But that's the energy that would want to control your progress. Maybe even that is the energy that's slowing it down here at the Knight of Pentacles, or at least has tried. But the authority that you assert at this point in time is too strong. It's like it's too insistent to be thrown off into this energy here as the Eight of Swords. If you can't see, it's like you've done more for yourself seeing much less than what you actually may be privy to now. But a lot of times when we're at the threshold of a really big crossover moment, like that Six of Swords came out twice, or a big aha moment or a big achievement, is when those illusions really ramp up, or they try to. That adverse energy, even within you, may try to turn up the volume a bit and have you questioning your readiness, your preparedness, your competence, your safety and security. Like, am I all right? Is somebody following me? Is somebody watching me? Am I in danger? Like, you just start to get real nervous, because there's so much to protect here, clearly. So it's understandable, but I feel the purpose is for me to assure you that you're protected, divinely protected, and being divinely guided precisely where it is that you have already manifested yourself to. Queen of Wands, okay? You got the power. You got the power. It ain't nothing on this board as an adverse energy really matching up to this energy. Certainly not any of the aces, because that's untouchable. And the high priestess in that frequency is far too protected. That's in the highest integrity. And with confidence and independence here, meaning you don't really need anyone, you know, especially as a feminine energy. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a woman, but it just means that even in the most vulnerable, in the ways that you may even seem to be most vulnerable, you still are holding it down. Eight of Swords is when you seem to literally be like cornered, under attack, or, you know, very, there seems to be threat all around you. The true essence of you at heart is the Nine of Pentacles. Ain't no enemies effing with that. Because all that I see here is projection. I don't really even see any true action, because other than the Seven of Wands here, but the energies probably couldn't really touch you, even if, or maybe as bad as they would want to. They don't have the ammo. They don't have the power. They don't even have the influence to make the impacts. Hell, some people might be dealing with too much trouble of their own over here to really be able to do any damage otherwise. You know, so it's like you good. And it's like our muscle memory and our conditioning is to all, when there's so much positivity that is being projected, is to almost like tense up and start to get nervous. Like, oh God, what's about to happen? When's the other shoe going to drop? Who's going to come out the woodworks? What's about to slam me now that I'm too happy and too peaceful and too calm and too optimistic? Now what's going to come and just kick my ass? But I don't think that's the season that we're in. Not in this frequency, and in this high vibration of creativity. This is, you know, alchemical power here at your fingertips. So no matter what, like if you had the insight and the foresight to know that there was more beyond the veil, even when it didn't make sense for you to perceive that at all, then certainly, as I said, with this this accumulated strength and confidence, knowing all you know and having grown all, I mean, you've been through Wonderland at this point, where nothing made sense, and you were able to see your way to sanity, to calm, to peace, even back home, centered to your supreme self again. Or maybe even able to maintain your supreme identity throughout the chaos and confusion. So at this point, it's like there's not so much you can say to Alice. And it's funny because she wears blue and white too, doesn't she? Yeah, it's probably going to be some type of title like that. At the point of post Alice's discoveries, she had gone too far and seen too much not to be enlightened, to literally to a whole nother power within herself, a whole nother frequency of strength, having been made really, really small and then really, really big. That could even speak to ego and insecurities, to feel really, really small, and then the ego to where you were probably, where you've had to kind of struggle with your pride in some ways, and then finding her way back to balance in the middle. There's something about that here that I feel on that. It's like you went through Wonderland, every twist and turn, and allowed yourself to be almost curious. Like, how Alice, she got herself into some sticky situations, but for the most part, at every turn, she did maintain that curiosity and that creativity, allowing herself to be inspired and allowing herself to be entertained. And it's something else that I'm seeing here. I'm not entertained, yes, entertained and inspired, but enchanted. That's the word. Allowing herself to be enchanted. Ooh, that is it. With the Queen of Wands, the Seven of Cups, yeah. And it's like once you seen beyond the veil from the way your world worked before you went through Wonderland, it's like you bring that energy back home to where you are, or where you're from, and apply it. That's the alchemical process. Now you can apply that knowledge, that enlightenment, that experience to perhaps a life that was pretty humdrum before your adventure. At least pretty straightforward. It was headed in a certain trajectory before you encountered this enchantment, or explored this enchantment. Yeah, something about that. Interesting. Hey, Alice. Woo! And here's the guide here, leading the way. And the Wonderland really was probably more internal, of course, than anything, exploring the aspects of you that were conditioned to obscurity, perhaps in some ways, or that were mysterious, maybe even hidden. That's the controlling part here. The aspects of that enchanted essence of you that was hidden from your awareness, and certainly from your assertion. A lot of the energy that was possessed was not even known, let alone to actually know then how to use it, or what's more, to know that you were always using it. That there was already a piece of Wonderland within you anyway, that you were operating in the frequency of within the normal world, but you didn't know it. That's deep. Ooh. Wow. Exposing all that. This is like exposing the origins of your power, where your prosperity is produced from, or again, how it's produced, how you were operating in the function of society as we know it, the controlled aspect of it, as this dynamic energy. I almost said entity, honestly. But as this dynamic being here with the Sun card, like you were always operating in that ultraviolet frequency. In a very, I don't know what kind of world, whatever is opposite of that. And it just took some self-discovery to reactivate. Yeah, that's what all this is about. Activating the origin of, well, activating your power from its source. The journey of Alice. Okay, well, 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment in the masculine energy. I always see that as the counterpart to the 9 of Pentacles. So I love that it's here for us. To definitely, it's like the 9 of Pentacles is more material. Like I said, the evidence of who you've been operating as whole time. You know, it's like the return and rewards can't help but to find you at this point, now that you're in full activation or on your way to it. But I get the sense that it's all, whatever it is, it's already in full activation. There just may be some deeper knowledge on the way as to how to assert. But the facility is already there. The power is already turned on. Wires are already properly, aligned, and, like the power up has already happened, or the upgrade of energy has already happened. It's like maybe you're just waiting for the manual, which the manual is, as I said, it's just the realization and the revelation of what you've been doing, and now being affirmed that yes, that's been working for you. That's the way in which some of us haven't seen the manifestations, the materialization of our manifestations really is not as much on account of us not doing something right. A great deal of it has been on the interferences throughout the process of becoming, throughout that wonderland journey. There were some things that Alice encountered that she got herself into kind of naively, and there were some things that were imposed upon her that were out of her control. But one thing's for sure is that she had to go through to get to her identity ultimately. There really was no turning back once she had embarked upon the journey. So no matter what was faced along the way, it's all par for the course, because the best and worst of what she encountered ultimately was really still a projection of some aspect of herself, dark and light, as the High Priestess is. It was all necessary to encounter and even confront the dualities of these energies so that she could come into total knowledge and understanding of her whole self. Not just one half, not one part, not the most, the most palatable part and acceptable part, but every aspect having to come into awareness and ultimately acceptance of who and what that was. And this is the pleasure with self, post-acceptance, to say, I like this, I like me, I'm good with me. And I'm actually good with every, and look, here's the upgrade from the 7 to the 9, from that insistence that there's something I need to see behind that veil. There's something more I need to explore. And here is the pleasure of that exploration and that discovery here. A great deal of the frequency of this pleasure is attributed to the pure passion in which she engaged the journey, though. Like, she embarked on the journey, like I said, having experienced dark and light along the way, but still maintaining, that sacred devotion in the center of it all. Not getting too lost in either one, at least not for too long, and incorporating each experience as a way forward to the next. That's when you can be pleased with how you're traveling this life experience. Especially any journey to destiny or journey to, a realization of supreme self. It's a wacky one. So just to be a yes to the invitation is already, look at us, as soon as I say it's a wacky one. Just to be a yes to go already says a great deal about you, because this is the side of you meet along the way. Certainly at least the one that you are tempted by, where you could go into your dark nature or your scarce, that scarce mentality here, 8 of Swords, or to be in fear, to be a lot of things with the devil, and to even, succumb to your addictions. Everything on account of fear, though. Like, every single aspect of the darkness is connected to some fear or another. And that, like I said, with Alice, it's like, she never, when I'm thinking of Alice, I'm thinking more so of like the Disney version. And it's like, she never really showed fear, maybe a little nervousness at times, a little anxiousness when things got wacky, particularly wacky, but fear was never really the energy that I could attribute to her throughout the movie. So yeah, it may even be a matter of facing the things that would make you fearful, justifiably, or have even in a different season at another time. That's also a part of the journey through. And look at this with the Strength card. Perfect ending. Exactly. Need I say more? Look at her. Remember the Cheshire Cat? And look what she doing. Taming a lion. And that sucker, now that one was tricky. And I also talked about pride and ego, like really finding your balance, you know, to harmonize with that primal nature of yourself that would defer to fear and anxiety and scarcity, survival mode. Okay, survival mode. Got it. Yeah. It's like you came out a whole new person. When in Alice came out Alicia. Or Alexis, if you fancy. Or Al, you know, not leaving my masculines out. Yeah, something about this is really sweet. I love this. I mean, it honestly, it really is nothing too sweet about it, because look at this. The Sun and the Strength card got the Devil on the ropes, cornered. That's why I'm saying it's like any energy that would even dare to try to position itself to be obstinate, resistant, a threat, a hindrance, a predator, controlling, you know, a tyrant, any of it is really up for a rude awakening at this point, because the Alice that you may have been before that may have been susceptible to the devil energy within them even before it was pronounced or a temptation outside of them is not the same. It's not the same Alice anymore. The strength was tested, tried, and true. And that's exactly what I'm saying about the evidence, to know like exactly what you were up against, but also to know how resilient and how powerful you always were. Because it's one thing to see the devil as the devil. We have a concept of that energy that is always fear-provoking. Maybe even the parts of ourselves that are dense and mysterious, even just outright dark, evoke fear. But to see the very best of yourself, now that's a change that we're not really all that used to. Because the darker nature of us all, and even of the world, you know, in general, is so much more pronounced than the light of us. So it's like, I think the preparation to see yourself as all that, or more or less like as the divine sees you, is probably key in this season, because it may be a bit shocking. It may even send you into like an energy of resistance, or you know, maybe a slight insecurity, or feeling or self-doubt, or questioning like, me? I can't be that powerful. I can't. And even by way of what privileges and rewards and things are coming to you, even that will be reflective, to the point where there may be gifts and opportunities that come to you that you would almost want to decline or resist, because it's like, me? You think I'm capable of that? You think and you may not say it out loud, and I hope you don't. You know, I hope that this is enough notice for you not to to verbalize your concerns, even with yourself. But it may come up internally just because, like I said, our conditioning is to always be striving, always be in faith, always being hopeful, but never really knowing what it truly feels like to be exactly where you want to be, having life the way you want to have it, doing the things that you want to do. All of that together. That is a wonderland of which we get to embark on a whole new journey. But it's a far more pleasant one, and that's probably why it's important to kind of like really see yourself for who you are post the bizarro wonderland of sorts, because you wouldn't want to take that energy, that frequency of anxiety and eagerness even, in that crossover Six of Swords moment of where you're going, because it's two different worlds. You're no longer learning who you are as much as you are living who you are now. And that's two different energies with the moon card. Yeah, it's like the moon, that mystique, that mysticism that seems strange. You may even be making a new contract, a new agreement with that mystical aspect of yourself, or a new agreement outside of the fears that you've learned to overcome, or perhaps even alchemizing you've already kind of done that. So what is the moon card exactly? It's something mystical. It's enchantment. So it's now it's something about turning over the enchantment of your experience as it was, as I said, through Wonderland, that it now gets to crystallize in a way into the new land of wonder, so to speak, but in a way that is far more desire, like in a way that you get to choose to be in agreement with. Not like how I said with Alice, how she kind of got thrusted. She actually had to be a yes to the journey, but once she got into it, she kind of had to go with the flow, go with the process. But it's something about having the power of choice now, which was where we started, to decide what agreements you get to make, even with that mystical, enchanted aspect of yourself and that expression of you, perhaps that is not quite as bizarro, as you once would have deemed it to be. There's some parts of that now get to exist with you in real time, where you are at this point in your new journey, and that you kind of had to go through Wonderland to obtain, because you never would have connected to it otherwise, to know that it very much so needs to be a part of you now as you move forward wherever you're going, and not rejected, resisted as something that is undesirable. Yeah, it's something about that here. I don't think I'm saying it well. It just feels like something about the moon not being so dark after all, the night not being, the dark aspect of you, the dark nature of you now converging with the light. That's what it is. And you being in agreement with that, you being okay with that, not split. Okay, not split between yourself and how you cope with that, because, the world has pretty much taught you to reject it as something evil, as something, maybe even demonic, or just not normal, as something taboo, perhaps. Now you get to allow those energies of you that you discovered on your adventures to merge as one and allow them to mutually coexist in a way that is progressive and powerful. It's like you had to go through Wonderland to get the totality of your power, because you never would have got it in the regular world, in the regular life as you were living it, doing what you were conditioned to do and told to do, and even the choices that you were conditioned to make for yourself. You didn't know that anything else existed, so you had to go through Wonderland in order to see all that was behind the veil and all that you were beneath the surface. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it at that. Safe travels to you, wherever you're headed off to next. And I think the energy of casting your nets, as I said, Jesus gave the directive to Peter, is because perhaps the aspects of you that you have resisted, or that haven't been quite as embraced or acknowledged, maybe up until now, but certainly before your adventurous travels, may actually be the thing that ultimately opens doorways for these great opportunities. That aspect of you had to be retrieved for a reason, because it's important to unlock certain keys of your prosperity that couldn't be unlocked otherwise. So maybe you get to lean more into the spiritual nature of yourself, whatever that gets to look like. It's certainly relative. But if it's the part of you that you like to keep more secretive, or more suppressed or repressed, that's probably the aspect of you that you should be leaning a little bit more into, at least loving a little bit more of, to explore perhaps more deeply, because that's ultimately going to be the thing that sets you up for prosperity in the way that you have been manifesting for yourself, even in the material sense of it all. It's coming through that way of the spiritual essence of you. So allow yourself to accept yourself, and also to be appointed as the divine sees fit. Don't reject that appointment. All right, so I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.